My name is Winter Grace Baylor. I'm a third grade general education teacher at Andrews Elementary School in Georgetown County. I have 16 students in my class this year. I have 9 of those are African American, 6 of them are white, and 1 Hispanic student. I teach in a very low socioeconomic area. We are a Title I school. We have been a Title I school since I was a student there. For my DID model, I want to focus on a science lesson for when we're doing our life science unit. One of the big projects that we do as a grade level is about like animal adaptations and environmental factors, and where they actually have to design a habitat that a turkey could not live in. And the problem with this is a lot of these children have never been outside of Georgetown County, and so they don't have a lot of background knowledge. And with that, you have to build that background knowledge, and thankfully technology plays a huge role in exposing students to different areas and different environments. You can't expect students to complete a project when they don't know what different environments even look like. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on. And I'm a little bit different at my school the way we do. So I have one student, of those 16 students, I have one student who is nonverbal. He was born with a medical condition that he cannot produce sounds. And he very much so wants to talk, but he physically cannot produce sound with his body. And so he has a communication device, or he actually has a tablet with a special program on it that he uses to communicate. He is pulled out by the special education teacher for reading and math, but for science and social studies, his grades come from me. He also receives speech OT for his condition that he has also affects his like motor skills, and he has a hard time writing as well. So with me having that student who is very much so needs a lot of extra help just because he has a hard time communicating, because this is not something that he's done his whole life. Before he came to school, he didn't actually have like a communication device that he could use to communicate with his parents. So even though he's in third grade, this is really only the second or third year that he has consistently had a device to communicate with. And so there is a huge learning boundary there. And so I also have another student who has some severe emotional regulation problems, and another student who has some severe behavior problems. And so we actually have the special education teacher. She pushes in to our class for science and social studies. Since I have those students, she pushes in on my classes on certain days so that she can help those students succeed with me. Because like I said, my one student who is completely nonverbal, he doesn't know ASL. He barely knows how to use his device. And it's a huge learning curve. So she pushes in to my science and social studies block several times a week. And so she is in there. So in a sense that we co-teach. She is great with the kids know her, so she's comfortable with them already. And a big thing with these learners is that they are very much so below grade level, so that has to be taken into consideration when we're planning instruction too. So I want to be very mindful and intentional about the content that I am presenting to them and how I'm presenting to them. Technology is already a big role in our classroom, especially with our nonverbal student, as his primary way of communication is through technology with his device. And so we already have a big focus of technology in our classroom, but being able to use technology in this model and so that the students can actually see what different places around the world look like, see where, you know, they could survive. I think it's going to be really beneficial to students. And I'm giving them their learning styles, so I'm interested to see how I think they learn versus what the tests say how best they learn. I've been out with COVID, and I've had multiple students out with COVID, so my plan is actually the students will take those surveys this week, and then I will go from there. So that pretty much sums up my audience of my DID model lesson idea.